She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We are really blessed that you decided to join us today, and we hope that you choose to join us every single day. Hey, are you happy? Huh? You don't quite know what to answer, do you? You know what I found? This is so crazy. My friend gave me the statistic. A recent survey had shown that 33% of Americans report that they're happy. This is so sad. Only 33% of Americans are saying they're happy. I wonder what those statistics are in Canada or in the UK, all over Northern Europe. I wonder what the statistics are in Africa or the Caribbean or in Central America or South America or Australia. What about all over Asia? I mean, wow. Only a third of our population is saying, I'm happy. Wow. Isn't that sad? That's kind of really sad. It kind of makes sense though, right? The number one drug prescribed in our nation is antidepressants. So it kind of makes sense that it almost seems like there's this cloud, this heavy cloud of broken, depressed emotions, even oppressive feelings, darkness that seems to come over us. Dani, who cares? I don't care how everybody else is unhappy. No, this actually matters to you. It really does. Because here on the Dani Johnson Show, right, we are always assessing success. We are redefining success. And for some who don't even have their own definition of success, we create an environment and conversation where you and I are going to discuss, what does success look like for you? What does it look like for me? For some of us, success is being healthy emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially. For others, it's just making $1 million or $1 billion. For somebody else, it's building a big, successful charity or church. For somebody else, happiness to them is just having a wonderful, harmonious marriage and wonderful kids. Success is different for everybody. So you can't just buy somebody else's definition of success. You have a destiny. You were put together in your mother's womb for something very specific. And that very specific thing calls out of you and says, come on, let's go. Listen, are you at one of those places in life where it's not quite where you thought it should be? Have you even had these thoughts go through your head? It's like, man, this is not where I was supposed to be. How did I end up here? And even if you're a CEO and you're driving in your car or you're watching this on television right now and you're saying, Dani, this really doesn't apply to me. Oh, yes, it does. Because you employ people. And if 1/3 of them, only 1/3 is happy, that means that 2/3 of them are not reaching their potential. That means that 2/3 of your workforce inside of your corporation or your sales force or your church, that means that 2/3 of them feel unfulfilled, unsatisfied. And how does that equate into production? There's no good. It's not good. If people are not learning how to be happy, what does it mean to be happy, what makes one happy, if they're not finding the true key to happiness, then they're short-circuiting. They're self-sabotaging. They're creating problems for your business, for your mission, for your ministry, for your family. They are. And so this is a really important discussion today because happy people, oh my goodness, are so much funner to be around. And happy people get promoted in their careers, their jobs. Happy people generally make more money. It's true. Happy people stay away from things that are depressive and create bondages. Happy people are not just that way. Do you understand? It's not like, I was born happy, so I'm happy. Yeah, and happiness is determined by whether or not I ever have a problem. Oh my gosh, man, you're smoking crack. All people have problems. All humans encounter struggles and sufferings and persecution and failures. We do. Traumas that happen in our lives. Come on, man. Here we were just trucking along. Things were doing good. We were helping hundreds of thousands of people and the business was so successful and everything was just on target and wow, bliss. Yay. And our daughter has a double aneurysm at 16 years old. Ouch. seriously, it was like one day of like, yes, to the next day of like, oh my gosh. In fact, we were in Arkansas looking at property, looking at relocating our company from California, and just in those beautiful Ozark Mountains, and we had our youngest son with us, and it was a nice time, and seeing the beautiful trees and the colors that were changing, and we get a phone call in the middle of the night telling us that our daughter is being rushed to San Francisco because the emergency doctor said, I think she might have had a double aneurysm. What? Yeah, so things happen, right? Yes. Trauma happens. Car accidents happen. People dive into swimming pools and break their necks. I mean, this is life. You're like, Dani, you're making me depressed. No, I'm actually trying to walk you on a different road here, because one of the ways to figure out what makes you happy is to find out where your weakness is when you go through hard times. Do you immediately go into that depressive state? Or do you have some tools in your hands that keeps you on the right track? I just can't tell you how timely this message is for me personally, because there's a pastor that I love to listen to. My pastor I love to listen to. But there's this other pastor that I listen to from the Brooklyn Tabernacle. We'll be interviewing him real soon. His name is Pastor Jim Cymbala. He's the senior pastor at that church. He founded that church. And just recently I was listening to one of his series on the book of Philippians, and he was talking about rejoice. Again, I say rejoice. Paul wrote that. And Paul even said that even in his sufferings, even his persecution, even from a prison, which is where he was writing that letter from, he says rejoice. And again, I say rejoice. Like, how in the world do you rejoice when your daughter has a double aneurysm, or you broke your leg, or you crashed your car, or you lost your business? How in the world do I rejoice there? I mean, come on, give me a break. I would look like an idiot. Well, I guess it is to say that there's always something to rejoice about. I think that depression and sadness is very dangerous. How? Because I've been there. Oh boy, did I live there. I did. I lived there for many, many years. I battled with suicide for the first, about 30 years of my life. Well, from the time I was 6 years old until 2001, I battled with depression and sadness and heaviness, right? Just that heavy, it feels like there's a 500-pound animal, a stinky elephant, maybe they weigh more than 500 pounds, but sitting on top of your chest, or that you're living in constant gray skies with a constant drizzle, right? Like, give me a thunderstorm. Don't give me that constant gray. Please give me give me a dramatic storm. But just like some people live in this stuff, constant drizzle, constant gray, no sun. I don't know how you describe this sadness, this heaviness, this grieving, right? Maybe you've suffered through a divorce, or maybe you're going through one right now, or maybe you're contemplating going through one right now. That deep grieving and mourning of a dream that you once had that now is tormenting you, right? 33% of our country says they're happy. Wow. Isn't that crazy? It's really sad. So, what difference does it make? Because if you're able to find that river that flows with happiness, you're going to make more money, and you're going to build a much more successful business, and you're going to have a much healthier and stronger and profitable career. Oh my goodness, your marriage, you're going to have so much more sex. You are going to lose weight. When you're happy, you look better. You look younger when you're happy. It's amazing. It really is. I see this in crowds of people when I'm doing First Steps to Success, just like the one we have coming up in Austin, Texas, of all places, our very first time doing this First Steps to Success seminar in Austin, Texas, January 17th, 18th, and 19th. You gotta come. You need a shot in the arm of happiness. This is literally what I watch. The exercises that we do first thing in the morning, on Saturday morning when we start, because what we do is we move away some of that junk from our past. We get through and we get underneath the major hindrances that are stopping us from the success that we want. All the blame, all the stuff, all the traumas that we've gone through, all that stuff. And we really deal with the heart of the issue that's inside of our lives that has caused us to not believe or to think negatively of ourselves and negatively of others. And you know what I mean? To just give up. We just kind of remove all that junk out of the way. And literally, by the time we get back from lunch, I'm looking at a totally different group of people. And then now go to Sunday morning. They're completely different people than what I saw Saturday afternoon. And by Sunday night, they're like even more different. They're like so much looser. They've had burdens lifted off of them. They've gotten some answers. They've got some strategies. They've got some new skill sets that really answer the main problems they've been having. And I think a lot of the reason why people are sad is they're just living in this perpetuated place of just problems. I know somebody in my life right now that every day, all this poor individual is dealing with is problems. Big problems. They're not small problems. They're just huge problems. There's just failures all around him. He's trying to weed through every single one of those failures. And when I look into this person's eyes, it's just like, oh gosh, this is horrifying. I could do nothing besides be kind to this person because they're just going through a very long, grieving, terrible and traumatic experience based on choices that were made but didn't realize the choices would lead to this place. And it's interesting that whenever he finds a solution to one of the problems that he's dealing with, it's a shot in the arm of energy, of life. It's like breathing in a clean breath for the very first time. Like, have you ever been like in a place where you could barely breathe? And then, like if you hold your head under the covers, right, and you breathe like that for a while, pretty soon the air gets super thick and it's not the right air that you're supposed to be breathing into your lungs, right? And then if you ever pull the covers over and taken that first clean breath, I have. It's very, life-giving. It's very empowering. And yeah, you can feel your heart is doing what it's supposed to do. Your lungs are doing what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you can feel all that. That's where I want to help us get today. Because if you're one of those people that you battle with sadness and grieving and mourning, and you have a low level of depression in your life, let's talk about these happy things, happy thoughts. And those who have moved yourselves from that depressive, dark place, how did you get to this place of happiness? How does it feel? What does it look like? What tools do you use to stay there? And is it actually possible to stay there, even going through some really horrific, traumatizing times? Is it possible to still rejoice in those times? I think happiness is a habit. I really do. And boy, so is sadness. Sadness is also a habit. I know that one really, 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 really well. I do. Yeah, really well. All too close. My best friend was sadness. Yeah, sadness, heaviness, gloom, doom, negative Nelly, that was me. So you get happy, you're gonna make more money. You're gonna pay off debt. You're gonna lose weight. You're gonna have more sex with your spouse. You're gonna be nicer to your kids. You're gonna be nicer to everybody. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
The Dani Johnson Show, helping people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
Benjamin Franklin said that the Constitution gives people the right to pursue happiness. However, he goes on to say, but you have to catch it yourself. Ooh. You know what I love about those guys way back then? It was all about personal responsibility. Nobody owes you happiness. It's up to you to choose joy, or you're going to choose sadness. I met this woman 14 years ago who now is one of my very, very closest friends. And she used to walk around all the time saying, choose joy. Happiness, choose joy. Now she's one of those kind of joyful kind of persons. But at the time, she was going through a really bad set of circumstances. I mean, terrible things that were happening to her family. And yet she still chose joy. It really taught me something, because at that time, I was miserable. I was in a deep depression. I was retired from my career. And not only was I miserable, I was making everybody else miserable that was around me. Now I get why she probably told me to choose joy so much. Because I was probably sucking the life out of her life. Whatever life she had left, I was probably sucking it out. She had a reason to be sad. I really didn't have a reason to be sad. I made up my own reasons to be sad. Pretty pathetic. But sometimes we find ourselves in a place that when we are not living out our lives the way we're supposed to, the way we're called to, that this does produce some unhappiness in our life. And 33% of Americans in a recent survey said that they were happy, which meant that 66% of Americans are not. Man, that's just freaky to me. That really is. Here's another statement by Abraham Lincoln, by the way, who battled with depression. He did. He was a very depressed man. Could have been his wife. Most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. So he knew full well that the times where he made up his mind to be happy, instead of looking for things to make him happy. He's got a very interesting life. I don't know if you've ever studied Abraham Lincoln's life, but it's a very interesting life. And and I don't want you to like get your, back out of torque right now because of, political views on Abraham Lincoln. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about he's an incredible success story. He overcame a whole lot of things. If you want to be successful in life, you should study successful people. And I learned a lot by studying his life. So anyway, one of them is that he was very depressed and he grew up so poor, and he overcame a lot. Anyway, let's go ahead and go over the phones. I want to hear from you. What makes you happy? Because if we can talk about the things that make each of us happy, it might stir somebody else into a place of, you know what, I'm going to focus on that because that makes me happy too. So we have on line 3, we've got April from Seattle. April, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi. So what made me happy a lot was when my children were little, and they would just wake up and they had a lot of joy in them. And I just was able to take that from them and be able to just play with them during the day and have a lot of fun.
You know what? That's so true. Kids wake up happy, don't they?
They do.
Okay, what did we do? Because you were a kid once, right? Just making sure.
Well, I think so.
Right, you were a kid once and you woke up happy, and so like, what did we trade our natural wake up happy, joyful, excited about life attitude? What did we trade that for?
Doubt, depression.
Bills, responsibility, right? Pressure.
Yeah.
Broken friendships, broken relationships. But isn't it interesting because kids have had plenty of broken relationships too, right? Come on, Johnny stole his toy and hit him over the head with it. But kids but kids get over it. They've got that gift to just get over it. I think there's something we can learn from little kids. And that is, they fall down, they stub their knees. They don't sue the pavement company. they don't sue the shoe company because the shoe made them trip. They don't blame somebody else for the trip. They don't even think about it. They just get up and keep going. And if there's a lot of blood, they scream. And a few minutes later, they get over it. We put a bandage over it. We pray for them. And then, they keep going and they're laughing 10 minutes later. There's much we can learn from that. And the bottom line is that happiness is a choice. It really is a choice. And it's all about what we focus on. And so I found the same thing, seeing my kids laughing and all that. So then what do you do as an adult? Because your kids aren't little anymore, which is what you alluded to. When my kids were little, they're not little anymore. Then they wake up as teenagers and they gotta,
A little attitude.
Exactly. So then what do you do? I mean, are you going to go have more babies now that your kids are grown to find some happiness? What's the answer?
So now it's more about my destiny and what I'm supposed to be doing. That's kind of what brings me happiness when I think about that kind of stuff.
Yes. It's whatever it is that we focus on, and there's always something good that we can focus on. There's no question. April, thank you so much for bringing back that wonderful memory of our kids and how they do bring joy into our lives. And sometimes we have to hold on to that joy and hold on to those memories and create new ones. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more about redefining your success right after this. This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Now, more of the Dani Johnson Show.
Most people are waiting for something to happen that's going to make them happy. I say, stop! You have to choose joy. Joy is a choice, just like choosing good water or choosing a Coke. It's a choice. Dani, really? Is it that simple? It really is. It's not easy. Just like it's not easy to choose an apple versus that ding-dong, right? Or the bag of Cheetos. I like them Cheetos. Okay, we have to make the choice. It's not easy to make wise choices. It is important, and there's great benefits for making great choices. And how does that equate to your success? Everything. Come on. You show up to work with a sourpuss look on your face, showing your frown instead of your teeth. It makes a difference in the atmosphere of those that work around you. I don't care what's going on at home. I don't care what's going on. Honestly, you have to choose joy, even in the midst of the disasters that you have going on in the marriage or the disaster with your kid. Maybe you got a kid on drugs. Maybe you got another kid that's sleeping around. Maybe you got another kid that's blowing money left and right. They're breaking your heart. It doesn't matter. Joy is a choice. Joy will make you more profitable. Joy, I'm going to say it again, will get you bigger raises. Joy, yes, makes you more valuable in the marketplace, especially when we have these statistics that 33% of Americans say they're happy. That means 66% of them are not. That's a lot of depression. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of apathy. There's a lot of not living. That's a lot of life suckers, dream stealers that are out there. There's a lot of people going nowhere. Only 33% are the ones who actually have the best shot of accomplishing something great with their lives. And accomplishing what? Their destiny. You are on this planet, my friend, for some great purpose. You are. You are not knitted together in your mother's womb just to suck up oxygen here on planet Earth. No. You're on this planet to do something. And I'm telling you, choosing happiness, choosing joy, yes, is going to help you get to that destiny far faster than your sourpuss attitude because your kids aren't acting right, or your wife is a wench, or your husband is a jerk. We can't fix those things, but you can certainly fix how you treat life every day. Dani, is this one of those positive mental attitude shows? No. It's about choices. It's about choices, and what you focus on is what you get good at. So what makes you happy? Line 2, we've got Dehavilland from Dallas, Texas. Come on, what makes you happy, girl?
Thank you so much, Dani. It's such a relevant message. I could honestly say for me, what makes me happy is when I'm able to serve other people and kind of look out. Sometimes when you're, in that funk, it's hard to look outside yourself. But if you just take the time to stop, there's one person in front of you, and just seeing that somebody else has a worse situation, and just being able to give out of whatever you have. Some people think, if I have this much, then I'll give and then I'll be happy. But it's really just finding what's in front of you. Yeah. So for me, it's more of like you said, it's like you have to practice. It's not something that you just, you have to choose it and you have to practice it. And so, just learning how to put other people before yourself, which is I used to be a very depressed person years and years ago, and so I know that journey.
Okay, talk to me about that, Dehavilland. Talk to me about that, because there's somebody right now driving in their car, and they are that depressed person.
Yes, just from, growing up in New York, some of the lifestyle I was around 20 years ago, I was very depressed. And for me, it was my salvation encounter that brought me joy. Happiness is a person, so I had to embrace, which was Jesus for me, and that turned everything around. But also having people around me that didn't have that negative thing about them. I got around people that were joyful. I got around people that I wanted to be like, and I put myself around them, and and mentors, and getting around people too. that can kind of get you out of that funk, made the world a difference.
Yes.
And so I attribute it to other people around me as well, being willing to invest in me and not just giving. You get those negative people, they see you're depressed and they feed into that depression. And, it's like it becomes I don't even have the right words, but if you get around other people that, that are full of joy and living a purpose, then it gives you hope, and you wanna walk in that same thing.
Yes.
So that did it for me. Even to this day, 20 years later, I still have some of those people around me. So yeah.
That's awesome. In those times of depression, did you ever experience the feeling of total hopelessness and that everybody was bad and nobody was trustworthy?
I remember just hitting rock bottom, and even I was 17 at the time. Foster homes, just the worst, thing. And I'm sure just the pain of all that. But I remember just hitting rock bottom. I didn't even see that there was any light to the end of the tunnel. But I had this one woman in my life. She would always look at me in my worst depressed state and say, you're going to be, she would speak life over me. And she was the one who got me out of that rut and took me to church.
What did she say? What did she say? She said, you're going to be. Finish the sentence.
Yeah, she said, Dehavilland, you're going to be a powerful woman one day. You're going to be a powerful woman of God. You're going to be a great mother. She would speak what I wasn't. At the time, I was a clubbing, feisty, teenager, but she would say, you're gonna have destiny. You're gonna impact others. You're gonna be successful. And she would constantly tell me that. She ended up passing and dying of cancer, but she would speak. She even took me in. So she didn't just say it, but she spoke it and she acted it, and I followed her steps. And
wow.
it's true to this day. So, it's just getting around those people that can impact you. Even getting out of your comfort zone, because sometimes when we get in that depression, we like to hang. Like you said, something was your friend. I think you said depression was your friend.
Sadness was my best friend. Yep, sadness.
We need to get some new friends.
Amen.
So that's what I had to do. So
amen.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Wow, Dehavilland, that's so powerful. I'm blessed by that story. It reminds me of another story. When we had moved to the Sierra Nevada mountains more than a decade and a half ago, I started going to this new church, and I met a woman who had colon cancer, and she had 4 children. They were all still in high school, and her and her husband were very, very successful. And she just had this huge growth on the outside of her body from this cancer, and her skin, I think it was liver cancer. Her skin was all brown. But do you know that there I am at church, and I am watching her from her wheelchair with her arms raised up high with this most incredible, joyful smile on her face as she was singing a love song to God. That really rocked my world, because I was in a depression at that time. And here to see this woman who joyfully loved her God in the midst of this great painful suffering that she literally was given months to live, and she had lived 3 years, and now it was obviously coming to the end of the time that she was going to be here on earth. And she wasn't bitter, she wasn't mad, she wasn't sad. She had just this incredible amount of joy all over her face, and it really, really impacted me. Even you can see it, you can hear it in my voice right now. It's impacted me even now, remembering her. And even when I talked to her afterwards, there was no pity in her. There was no depression in her. There was no sadness in her. There was just joy. And she chose joy. And she died maybe a month after I met her. And that's a very high level of leadership. That she didn't use her life as an excuse to spread death, but she lived it to the fullest, even though death was knocking on her doorpost. So I don't know about you, but I know that I've allowed myself in years past to get depressed so easy. I have. And it really is just one day at a time focusing on the wrong thing. And we can fix that by choosing new friends. Rather than sadness being a friend, choose joy. And that really does determine your earning power, your success for creating wealth, your success in your relationships at home and at work and in your community, it really does. It's a huge, significant factor for you to be successful. Find me a holistically successful person, meaning they have not sacrificed their health for money. They haven't sacrificed their family for money. They haven't sacrificed their time with their family for houses and cars and junk and prestige and title and positioning. They haven't sacrificed any of that for success. But they've had a very balanced, holistic approach to success. They've got the whole picture. You tell me, are they happy or sad? Come on now. And have they had challenges in their life? Yes. Huge traumas in their life. Come on, I've studied these people. Huge traumas, giant setbacks, horrible things that they've had to walk through. But they've chosen joy. They've chosen joy as they walk through them. So it doesn't matter how bad the day is. And I got to tell you, when I was a homeless woman, part of how I dug myself out and became a millionaire in 2 years is I focused on the problems of other people and focused on just encouraging them and loving them. And it started to feed me at the same time. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
No matter what you think, feel, or imagine, if you want to make things right in your own life, you have to focus and believe. Stay tuned for helpful advice on life and more on The Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
Get ready to live the uncommon life. Here's Dani Johnson.
What makes you happy? You know, there's a lot of different teaching out there that says, hey, if it makes you happy, then do it. Well, yeah, is the thing that you think makes you happy the thing that really makes you happy, right? I mean, because somebody could say, well, pornography makes me happy. Really? Does it make you happy? Somebody could say, well, shopping makes me happy. Does that really make you happy? Okay, eating at this restaurant makes me happy. Buying that coffee makes me happy. Does that really make you happy? Is it really what makes you happy? Because again, there's this teaching out there, hey, if it makes you feel good, then do it. Really? Does it really make you feel good? I mean, really look at the full picture. Does it really make you feel good? Because in the equation of success, it's really important to evaluate what really does make you happy. Oh, the market has sold you all kinds of things telling you that it's going to make you happy. You know, driving this car is going to make you happy. Oh, what about the car payment and the pressure of the debt that you're carrying? What about having to carry the full coverage insurance because it's a brand new car? What about the expensive fuel that you got to put in that thing? What about the burden, the financial burden? So is the car really making you happy? Okay, so in the equation of success, you really got to look at the full picture. So is shopping on the weekends and buying more clothes and more shoes and more gadgets, another iPhone, is that really going to make you happy? It might give you some happiness for a minute, but then you get the bill on your Visa, right? Then you have, oh my gosh, the debt is bigger than it was last month. My bank account has less in it than it had last month, all right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So we think that these outward things are what's going to make us happy initially, but the fact is that if that thing actually then turns into a burden, it actually is a heavy weight and a heavy burden on you, then it's really not happiness. This is where majority of our country finds themselves. Majority of the people you go to church with, if you even go to church, are not happy. 66% of the people are saying they're not happy. That was a recent survey that was done. They're just not happy. I think this is sad. You know, when I look at people like Fida, who has 9 children and she can't feed them, and her house was destroyed by an earthquake 4 years ago, And she's been living in this thing where she just basically took like old leaves and branches and some scrap wood, and any metal that she could all like put together with mud. It kind of made this mud kind of hut to create a home for her and her 9 children. And it's not like the home you live in, it ain't the home I live in. I mean, this thing isn't even 10 by 10 for the entire home. And yet there's 9 kids and a mom that is in there. Husband took off trying to find work and had been gone for 2 months. The water that they're pulling out of the ditch is brown. It's disgusting. Now, if you had an earthquake and your family members died and you've got these 9 kids and you can't feed them, your husband's gone for 2 months, he can't find work, right? Come on, think about this. Now that can make you sad, right? I mean, oh gosh, that'd be a very oppressive set of circumstances. But check this out. In that same village, there's a man by the name of Pastor Joseph. Pastor Joseph that has joy. He found the person of joy, which is Jesus. And he prayed for 4 years, saying, God, you know the needs of my people. God, we need a miracle. God, please send help. God, we need clean water. God, we need food. God, we need homes. God, help us. Help us. My people are dying. My people are suffering. Nobody is helping us. Lord, please send people to help us. And then a year ago, December, myself and a few friends climbed up to the top of this hill to meet this man who had been praying for 4 years. When I asked him, what's the needs of your people? He told us, water, food, shelter. Wow. Number one, I was so impressed that a pastor actually knew the needs of his people, because unfortunately in most of the countries around the world, especially if it's in the western part of the world, they haven't got a clue what the needs are of their people. Just like our politicians don't know what are the needs of the people. They don't know what makes you struggle and cry at night. They don't have a clue. But this pastor knew exactly. Simple. Could you imagine carrying that burden? Can you also imagine being the one that's carrying the banner of happiness and joy, carrying the banner of faith and hope and promise, and standing on the truth that God would bring a miracle? Well, guess what? You want to be a part of that miracle? Come on. You want to find joy for your life? You want to experience some success? You want to experience some happiness? Let you and I bring the miracle of building homes for 2,000 people. Bringing in 2 clean water supplies. How about you and I join forces and we build a sugar plant that will provide 200 jobs? Think about that. Think about the joy you get from putting joy into somebody else's life. Imagine the happiness you will experience by helping to serve somebody else whose needs are so simple. Rather than another bicycle for some spoiled, rotten brat in this country. Rather than another set of video games for another spoiled brat in this country. I'm not saying all kids are brats, but a lot of them are, and you and I both could agree with that. Instead of buying another mug for Uncle Dave, who doesn't need another mug. No one needs another mug. I don't even drink coffee and people send me mugs, okay? I got a whole shelf of mugs. I always have to get rid of them because I don't need mugs. Please don't send me any mugs. But do you understand what I'm saying? Rather than buying these things for people who don't need them, why not you and I join forces and we be part of the miracle? You and I could be a part of the miracle. How? Go to kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org. Kingsransom.org. Give what you can. Click on Kadwa, Haiti, because that's where Fida lives. That's where Pastor Joseph lives. That's where this elderly woman who lost her entire family lived. Fida is now in her new home, but we got many more homes still left to go to provide shelter for these 2,000 people. Or you can call 888-291-7123. Again, that's 888-291-7123. 888-291-7123. Today we're talking about that an important ingredient for your success is choosing happiness. Come on, don't you remember the movie Hook? Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts. Remember Julia Roberts as Tink is trying to tell Robin Williams, who, by the way, struggled with choosing joy and battled with depression. But she kept saying, just think happy thoughts. And they had all these posters of all these happy thoughts that he could think of so he could fly, so he could get back in touch with who he was born to be. So we have to choose joy in order to reach our destiny. We do. We have to choose joy. And one of the things that can bring joy into your life is giving joy to somebody else, giving a gift of life to somebody else, life like water and food and shelter. Go to kingsransom.org and you can participate with you are part of a miracle. You are part of a miracle. Could you imagine being in that situation? Totally hopeless? And prayer brought happiness into this pastor's life, and prayer brought a miracle into his people's life. And you and I get to be that miracle. Again, go to kingsransom.org, and I challenge you to do this. Start a campaign. Go and get your neighbors, your coworkers at work. If you own a business, have your company sponsor one home. It's only $6,500 to build a brand new home for one of these families. Many people are going to sleep in that home. Maybe your company can sponsor that, right? Or let's say that your church could sponsor that, or your school could sponsor that. How? We don't have the money, Dani. You could get a whole lot of people that could give $20. You could go recruit a whole bunch of people to give $100. You can recruit 6 people to give $1,000. If you make up your mind, just like little Jacob did for his 7th birthday, that he wanted to take care of the poor, he raised $7,000 for his 7th birthday and gave it all to the poor. So go to kingsransom.org right now. Continue with me. We're going to talk more about success right after this.
Don't just stand there. Soak this up. It's joy, it's encouragement, it's insight to a better life and how to meet your obligations and overcome obstacles.
The Dani Johnson Show.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job Domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First steps to success, register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
How to live a very balanced life.
I've totally sacrificed my friendships and I've definitely sacrificed my family. And yeah, I only get 4 to 6 hours of sleep every night.
Struggles with managing your time. How to solve issues with love, life, money, or your spiritual journey.
I can't stress to you enough. It's important to live a very balanced life.
Dani is the counterweight to give you balance.
Do you find that you're not living out your life the way you want it to?
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to Hour 2 of the Dani Johnson Show. We're really blessed that you decided to join us today, especially today. I'm going to tell you why. So far in the first hour of the show, I already feel better about myself. Dani, what are you talking about? We're talking about happiness. We're talking about that joy is a tool. It is. Happiness and joy is a tool. It's also a choice. And it does actually make you more profitable in the marketplace. It will have you have more sex with your spouse. It'll make things so much easier at home with your kids. It'll also help you to handle those monster problems at work. And I'm talking about the monsters that you work with. Because there are some monsters that you work with, right? There's some people that are always gloomy. There's some people that never smile. There are some people that are just always down. There's some people that bring their problems from home to work. Listen, I've gone through a lot of problems in my life. Oh my gosh, have I gone through a lot of problems in my life. I want to talk to you about this. When I was a homeless woman, okay? I'm homeless, friend. I'm 50 pounds overweight. My husband had left me for another woman for the second time. Okay, I have $2.03 to my name and a $35,000 debt. Hello. Okay, I couldn't bring that problem to my job as a cocktail waitress. Bringing my problems to work and griping about my husband and griping about my big butt and griping about my lack of money was not going to get me more tips as I was serving burgers and fries and steaks and drinks. It was never going to get me more tips. So I had to leave my problems in my car. They were there when I returned at 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And the same when I started the business from the trunk of my car in a payphone booth. Okay. When I would talk to these prospects who I was attempting to have them no longer be a prospect, but now be a client, I couldn't bring my problem of, I want to find my husband so I can hunt him down and strangle him. And I want to find that chick that he's sleeping with too, because I'm going to tear her apart in tiny little pieces. I couldn't bring those problems to my clients. I actually focused on their problems and helped to encourage them and build them up and edify them and I believed in them. And this caused a business to grow like a wildfire. And it was a business I was only working part-time. Why? 'Cause I had a full-time job as a cocktail waitress, 12-hour shift, so I had 10 hours a week to pour into this little business that I started on the side. Well, it only took a few months before that business was it was unprofitable to work 12-hour shifts at the bar. And so I made $250,000 my very first year in business. I made $1 million my second year. How? I left my problems at home. I've always had problems. I have. And sometimes the problems are at work. And so if the problems are in one department, I leave them in that one department and I move to the next department. I just came out of a meeting with people. Wherever there's people, there's going to be problems that have to be solved. I left those problems in the meeting and now, hi, I'm talking to you. Okay, so choose joy. Choose to be happy. You will be much more profitable to everybody around you, okay? You will. All right, so what makes you happy? Okay, we're talking about that today. What makes you happy? Because if you choose to be happy, no matter what the circumstances are, you choose joy, you choose to rejoice, people will pay you to be around them. It's just how it works. Okay, Trina from Arizona, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. What makes you happy, girl?
Hi, Dani. Well, the other two answers were brilliant, and they were part of my answer was serving people and loving them, just truly just loving them, no matter where they're at, no matter what their circumstances are. And my family truly, truly makes me happy. With all my heart. My children are my joy and my husband. And then my third part answer was just living in the moment. This is what I wanted to talk about. Yeah. So much of my life I had spent not living in the moment. You know, but something about what you talked about. Like,
where were you living if you weren't living in the moment? Where were you?
Yeah, in the past. Or I'll be happy in the future when my husband's business is acquired and we're millionaires, and then we'll have more time together, you know, and then we'll take that dream vacation, or, you know, it was either the past or the future, the past or the future.
So true. So true.
Chronic illness hit me, and I think the chronic illness has taught me to live in the moment, because the days and the minutes and the hours that I'm pain-free, I am so full of joy that my cup overflows, and then I can get up, and then I can do what makes me happy, which is serve others and serve my family and make those cupcakes for my daughter and volunteer for that field trip and make my husband that special dinner and serve in my church, serve in my community, and just be present and not worry about, well, am I going to be in pain tomorrow? Yeah. You know, just live in the moment, that moment. God put me in that moment, and I need to live in that moment and not past or future, and stay present.
Yeah.
And it's helped me be such a happier person is by just living in that moment and feeling the joy. Because you can't feel it if you're worried about something else.
Yep. Man, I love what you said because it is so true. We often don't live today, right now. We often live in yesterday or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, all that pain and suffering back then. Or even we lived back then and when things were happier, when things were better, when we had more money, right? We're worried about tomorrow. Or I love what you said. This is so powerful. When my husband's business gets acquired and we make $1 million, when we go on that great vacation, then I'll be happy. No, it is literally being here today, right now, and choosing joy even in the midst of the pain. Choosing joy even in the midst of not knowing what the future holds. Because joy is a choice. Now, I have a question for you. Do you find, because you say you're dealing with a chronic illness, do you find that choosing joy and being grateful helps you to be out of pain longer?
Oh, absolutely. If I can get myself out of the house, even if it's just out of the house, to sit on the ground, to sit on the grass, and put my face in the sunshine, since I live in the sunshine state, and just meditate on everything that's good around me, it seems that the pain just slowly starts dissipating. If I'm focused on that which hurts me, it just gets bigger. If I say, ouch, it's hurting, then it just gets bigger. But if I force the thought out of my head, and I have 3 of the most beautiful dogs, 2 King Charles Cavalier Spaniels, and a Chinese crested powder puff, and I just love on them and take them outside, and they sit around me, and they seem to know that I need them, so they come around me. And I really focus on something other than the pain, and I can get through it. And sometimes it takes an hour. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes. It just depends. I don't know how long it takes, but I stay in it until it's gone.
Wow.
It's just, it's helped me survive because I've had it for over 10 years.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's, and I've figured out things that help the pain. I float in my pool. I float in a salt bath, and Epsom salt bath.
Yep.
Sometimes I take 3 salt baths a day, but that makes me happy. That fills my cup. It brings me back to reality where I can take care of myself and I can take care of everyone else, which makes me the happiest. I love serving people.
Wow.
I think there is no greater joy than to love your neighbors as yourself.
Yes. Trina, you know what? You truly are loving them, because I've encountered a lot of people in my life, especially family members, who are chronically sick, chronically ill, chronic pain. I grew up in the chronic pain family, right? In the chronic prescription drug family, and the chronic street drug family, and the chronic alcohol family, that the chronic fighting family and trauma family. And so it becomes a habit. You know what I mean? Like that's what you've been trained up by and with, and that's all you've ever known. And what you're saying is so powerful, because we have a choice to leave that life behind us, or we have a choice to choose joy until we see the fruition of the joy. Instead of allowing our circumstances to beat us up, we have to choose to be happy no matter what the circumstances are. And you really are, man, you're a model citizen. And that's success, by the way. That's success. You see, everybody's out there defining success for everybody. And you know, the realtors are saying success is buying a big house. And the car dealers are saying success is driving a Lexus or a Mercedes or a Land Cruiser, you know, and the malls are saying success is having all these new clothes. And Chanel says success is wearing Chanel. None of that is success. None of that. That stuff is all empty. It means nothing, especially if you're going into debt to get those things. But what you just heard Trina talk about, wow. Trina, you are a great success story. You right there with that chronic illness, you right there with that beautiful attitude that you choose gratitude, that you choose joy in the midst of the pain. And you said it yourself, it makes the pain go away. I love it. That's empowering right there. And that to me is a true successful person. And that person can do things, right? She's saying, I love serving people. And you know what? I believe that all humans do. I really do. Now, Dani, it's not my personality. Have you ever tried it? Have you ever tried serving somebody else more than you serve yourself? I'll tell you what, selfish people are the most miserable people on the planet. They are. The serve me, Dani, serve me. I'm going through hell, Dani. You need to listen to my problems. You don't listen enough, Dani. Serve me. Make me feel better. That's selfishness. You want to be served? Serve others. Serve others. Don't be looking for everyone to take care of you. But get outside of yourself and focus on serving others, not trying to get something in return. But I promise you, I believe all of us humans were made to love our neighbor. It's already wired inside of us. It is. It's already inside of us. It's in our DNA. We were created in his image, and he serves us every day. Yeah, he serves the moon and the stars and the sun without fail. He serves the rain in due season, the sun that comes out and makes our tomatoes so red, right? He causes the earth to spill out food for us. And we don't even know how it works. We don't have to know how it works. We know it just does. Every day we get served breath in our lungs. We get served. We get served things we take for granted until we don't get those things anymore, right? Yeah. We take for granted the food that's in our homes until we have fallen on the worst of hard times and have no food. Then we wish we would have had the food that we threw away all those years. Same. We take for granted encouragement until we're not getting it anymore. Oy, oy, oy. So we got to learn to give and serve, because I believe that brings true happiness and true joy. Most people haven't tried it yet, so they don't know. They think I'm cuckoo. They do. They have no idea because they haven't served. They just serve their spouse. Well, that's serving yourself. They serve their kids. That's serving yourself. They're still serving you. What about serving those that don't benefit you directly or make you feel good? What about them? This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Revealing the power within yourself to be happy. We'll talk about that if you stay right here on The Dani Johnson Show.
And I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's D-A-N-I Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
Now, more of The Dani Johnson Show.
Imagine being married to a negative Nelly. That was my poor husband. Yeah, man, I was one of those, and still am from time to time, that I get stuck on something that is not right? I don't like it. This is terrible. And then that thing that I don't like that is terrible gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And my husband has this phrase that is so brilliant, okay? And this is it. This is what it is. He goes, well, something has to suck. It completely breaks my attitude instantly. It does. Instantaneously, I'm like, you're right. We're on planet Earth, honey. Something has to suck. Ugh. Our attitude is our choice. We can choose joy. We can choose being grateful, thankful, or we can choose sadness, grieving, mourning, and depression. The choice is ours. And there's been times where I've gone through a really hard time, like a hard wrestling, like a constant stirring. It seems like there's a constant battle going on. And then I reach a point where I say, enough, mercy, help, I'm tapping out. And that's where you just give up and you go, okay, listen, let's get back to the basics. I'm going to focus on any good thing that's going on in my life. It might be only one good thing. It might be only two good things, but I'm going to focus on those things. I'm going to cling to the improvements. I'm going to cling to the progress. I'm going to cling to what I can be joyful about. And it's incredible how that then is used as high performance fuel to propel you in the marketplace, at home, and with your service work that you're doing at church or a part of a ministry or charity work that you're doing in your community. It propels you, it pushes you forward and makes you much more profitable, more desirable, much more impactful, more empowered. Bottom line, at the end of the day, it's gonna make you more money choosing joy, I promise you. If you're a sourpuss, it shows in your paycheck. It really does. It really, really, really does. You have control over this. We have Stephanie from Rochester, New York. What makes you happy? Stephanie.
Hey, Dani. How are you?
Good.
It was funny you mentioned Hook because I actually just recently watched that with my husband.
Such a great movie. It's a great movie.
I know. It was on VHS, too.
So what makes you happy?
Well, honestly, it was stolen from me a while back in my childhood. I don't like to remember it, but I definitely feel I was gifted that childlike spirit again. I absolutely love raking leaves, jumping in them, making snowmen, all that stuff. I don't care. And on Sunday, my husband and I, we go and take a spontaneous drive, and it could just be anywhere, and we just love meeting new people. We love serving them. It's just really brought a lot of joy in the household.
So serving, spontaneous drive, spending time with people that you love, that all makes you happy. That all makes you happy.
Definitely.
Now, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
What happens if you lost all those things?
I still choose happiness. I would find other ways to be happy.
Amen. Because sometimes we can put our happiness into a person or into a thing. Mm-hmm. Or we can put our happiness into a freedom that we have. And once we lose the freedom to take those spontaneous drives, we lose our spouse, we lose those people that we love to serve, now we've lost it all because our happiness was in something that is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
So what else could you have your happiness in or draw joy from if you were to lose all those things?
Well, I highly enjoy painting.
But what if you lost your hands? Couldn't paint anymore.
That's a good question.
That does happen to people. Well, Dani, I could use my mouth. There's a painter that used their mouth. I did, but we could keep going. But my point is this. I challenge you to do this. I found true joy in a person who walked this earth 2,000 years ago, a person who's alive in me, and his name is Jesus, and he's the Messiah. I can rejoice all day knowing that he died on a cross. He gave up his life that I might live, that he died for my filthy, wicked, nasty sins. And he also died for the wicked, nasty, filthy sins that others have committed against me. I find great joy and happiness in knowing that whatever problem I'm walking through in my life, he's there with me, rejoicing over me, giving me a cup of rejoicing if I'd like to drink it. And I know that he works all things together for good for those who are in him. So I don't ever want to be away from him because he truly is the center of my joy. And out of that joy, I can love and serve and grow and develop in all these other areas of my life. Thanks so much, Stephanie, for calling in and sharing. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Stay tuned to The Dani Johnson Show. There's more to come.
You want to succeed, right? But you do not want to fail God at the same time. There is a way to succeed from a biblical perspective, and it's far greater than anything you could ever imagine. Over 500 scriptures I studied to study money, everything that the Bible said about money. That's in the first couple chapters of Spirit-Driven Success. Not to mention leadership, working with people, growing a career, being used mightily in the marketplace, which is where Abraham, God used him in the marketplace. And Joseph, God used him in the marketplace. Moses, God used him in the marketplace. Daniel, Solomon, really all of the greats of faith, most of the greats of faith throughout the Bible, they all were in the marketplace. And God wants to show you how you can be used mightily by him in the marketplace. Right here, Spirit-Driven Success is where all of my notes are on how you can do that. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Spirit-Driven Success today.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
Fill in this blank. I'll be happy when blank. If only blank happened, then I'd be happy. If only I had more money. If only I was skinnier. If only I had better relationships. If only I was black. If only I was black. Then I'd have that beautiful skin. Or if only I was white. Or if only I was Chinese. If only I was Mexican. If only I was Hispanic. If only I lived in London. If only I could travel more. If only my job didn't suck. If only I didn't have this debt. If only my business would be working better. If only I could make more money. Then I'd be happy. You know what? Your happiness is in the wrong place, and you will never get those things that you think will make you happy until you choose to be happy today. You have to choose joy in order to reach your destiny, friend. Listen, you were born to do something great. You were knitted together in your mother's womb. Think about this. The great designer, the creator of the heavens and the earth, created you. And do you think that he created you to put a depressed person on the earth? To put an unhappy person on the earth? No way. He put you on this earth because he's got a destiny that's calling out to you. And that destiny requires a journey, requires steps. And that journey is filled with great successes as well as great turmoil. It is. And during those times of great turmoil, we have to choose joy. If we want to succeed financially in business, our careers, with our ministries, with our charities, right? With our families and our marriage relationships, or even like, I'd like to get married, Dani, to start off with. When I get married, then I'll be happy. No. You have to choose. You have to practice choosing joy every day. Every day. It leads you to your destiny. And it makes you so much more valuable at work. Oh my gosh. And the marketplace pays for value. They do. The marketplace pays for value. And the market does not want to pay for depressive, gloomy, doomy, negative Neds and Nellies. No. You want to make yourself more valuable at work? Get promotions and raises? Grow your business better? You want to attract more business to you? More clients? More referrals? Choose joy. It makes you very attractive. Everyone loves to be around joyful people. People cannot stand being around dream-stealing, life-sucking, air-sucking, negative Neds and Nellies. All right, we're going over to Victoria from Banning, California. What makes you happy, Victoria?
Penny.
Hi.
Hello. My top team standard food.
Oh man, your connection is really, really bad. I wish I could hear you better. Let's try that again.
Hello.
There we go. So much better.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I have my standard poodle, and I dyed. I'm a dog groomer, and I dyed her hot pink, and because we had to be at an event, and anyway, it's just the joy that people get from seeing this pink poodle walking around is amazing. It's so much fun.
No way. That's wild. So your pink poodle brings other people joy.
You know, we had last year. We were in this parade, and it was it was in Carmel, and it was called Poodle Day, and it was kind of by accident that I colored her pink. That I dyed her pink was because at the last minute I found out that we needed to be in costume. Well, my friend had this 1950s little pink ladies outfit that my daughter could wear. And then I thought, what can I do? Oh, pink ladies. I'll just dye Selah pink. And Maddie and Selah can be pink. Well, she totally won. There were over 650-something poodles in this parade and event. And they won Best Dressed Child and Poodle. And just walking around and people seeing her, hanging her head out of the car. People went absolutely crazy. And so, you know, she's hot pink. She loves the attention. She just spreads so much joy. We've come across people that were really deathly afraid of big dogs. And, of course, when they see this big, poofy pink poodle, because she's in full show coat and she's hot pink, people got kind of it's a little unnerving, you know. But, you know, just the way she walks up to people and says hello and has this big, you know, happy smile on her face, it just brings me joy because I'm able to talk people through some of their fears of dogs.
Yeah. You know, okay, now, first of all, I need to get a picture of the dog. All right. I have to see, I have seen a powder pink, right? A light baby pink poodle before, but I have never seen a hot pink poodle. Can you please post the picture on Facebook for us? Because I want to see this. Okay. Second of all, you're reminding me of something. Recently, I came home from a trip and I walked in the door, and I was gone for 8 days. I walked in the door, and our oldest son is staying with us right now. He and his new wife are saving money. And so, which is awesome, right? That they get to save money, and I get to be around my son and my daughter-in-law. And they brought 2 dogs. Okay, well, first of all, my son moved a year ago to Missouri to go pursue this young woman. And I'd been praying every night, like, Lord, please bring my son home. Okay. Like every night I have a picture of my son Cabe on our nightstand. So I'd see it before I go to bed. I'd see it when I woke up in the morning. And it just reminded me to pray, Lord, please bring my son home. Please bring my son home. So God answered my prayers. And not only did he bring my son, he brought a girl and 2 dogs, 2 puppies, one of which is a pit bull mix. And then this other thing that is something else mixed. Anyway, they're 2 big puppies, okay? Benji is like 75 pounds and Archer is 65 pounds. They're big puppies. So anyway, I come home the other night after traveling for 8 days, and I walk in the laundry room door, because that's the door into the garage, and who's there? Not my kids. Not even my husband. But Archer and Benji, with their tails going crazy, their tongues flipping around in their mouth. And I looked at these 2 and I just went, wow, hi, it's so good to see you. Even though I am not a fan of dogs at all. I am probably of the most anti-fan dog person. Yes, the kids had a dog and we put the dog down. He was 15 years old. It was ready for him to go down. His name is Kona. He's our family dog. And yes, it was painful to put him down, but I'm not the like dog lover, dog grooming dog person at all, right? These dogs have chewed up at least $1,000 worth of furniture and stuff and trash. These dogs have caused all kinds of trouble in my house, but it was amazing, my response when I walked in the door and I saw these 2 puppies. They're big puppies. And I went, wow, they added joy right there. And as I turned the corner and started walking down, still there's no humans, right? And it made me remember. I remember when my kids were little and I'd come home from a trip and it would be like, Mommy! They'd just be running and tearing and nearly knock me down with so much excitement that Mommy was home. Well, now they're all big men with deep voices and hairy chests. It's just, hey, Mom, how's it going? Still the big hug, but I don't get knocked over with enthusiasm. But it was really interesting because I just went, wow, this is why people have dogs. This is why people have dogs. I wonder if I'm going to end up with dogs once I have no kids left in the house. But yeah, it really just went, wow, this is it. They can bring joy into your life. They can also bring turmoil and frustration as well, which is my normal experience. But thanks for sharing, Victoria, about I have to see the hot pink dog. I can't wait to see the picture of the hot pink poodle. Congratulations on winning the contest. And it does. That kind of thing does bring joy into people's lives, for sure. And I think that we live in a world where we could use more joy. The Bible says this. It says that laughter is good medicine for the soul. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Oh my gosh, so powerful. Joy actually can be a weapon. It's a weapon. Come on, you might be facing something really hard. My family's been facing some really hard things this year. And just recently, my husband and I sat down and I just said, you know what? We just had a really good day. I'm going to print out a calendar, and every day that we have a really good day, we're going to put an X in the box going, yes, we had a really good, really gracious, really kind, very loving day today. And we are literally starting today. I've got the calendar in my purse. It's just a photocopy of a blank calendar, and we got an X ready to put in there. And sometimes you got to do that, man. And again, we can't bring our problems into our work. We can't bring our bad attitude and the struggles into any other place than where it's sitting. And it makes sense if you have a counselor there, so you go talk, you unload on that counselor, but don't unload on your coworkers. Don't unload on the rest of your family. Don't unload on, your church members who don't know what to do with it. Dani, are you saying I can't go forward for prayer? Yes, you can go forward for prayer. But it doesn't mean that you bring in all the gloom with it. Ask for prayer. Okay? But choose joy. At the end of the day, you got to choose joy. At the beginning of the day, you got to choose joy. It's going to make you more profitable, more successful, more happy. It's going to make you lose weight. You're going to have more sex with your spouse. You're going to be nicer to everybody that's around you if you choose joy. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue after this.
Life! It's about the journey. Are you living the life you want to live?
Is it going the way you want it to go?
Don't live your life by default. Live by going the way you want to go. Dani can help you with your roadmap to life. The Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
And now, back to more of the Dani Johnson Show.
People ask all the time, Dani, how in the world did you go from that terribly depressive, suicidal state, in the month of December of 1990 to the month of January, starting a business from the trunk of your car and making $250,000 your first year? I chose to focus on one good thing that was going for me. And it wasn't even something that I liked. It wasn't even something that I thought was positive, but it was something that other people thought was positive, and it was I was living in Hawaii. If I had to be homeless, Hawaii was the place to be homeless, right? Instead of Oakland, California, right? Or New York City, Brooklyn, of all places, Queens. I mean, really, this is not the place to be homeless, okay? If you're a woman and you're 21, I was grateful that I was homeless in Hawaii. But see, the first 30 days that I was homeless, I wasn't grateful at all. I was mad. I hated Hawaii. I hated the beach. I didn't like bikinis. I didn't like the people. I didn't like anything that was going on in my life. And all I did was focus on the problem. But man, as soon as I just focused on one good thing I had going for me, everything in my life changed. And then I added a second thing and then a third thing, and then it kept going. You see, you have the power to change your life. You have the power to choose success by choosing gratitude, thanksgiving, choosing joy, choosing to be happy. You see, if you use other things to make you happy, those other things you can lose. But happiness has got to be something that is made by yourself, a choice you make of what it is that you align yourself with, who you align yourself with, what you decide to put inside your mind and your mouth. Because there's actually foods that can make you negative, whether you realize it or not. Yeah, that Red Bull, that don't make you positive. Oh, it might make you kind of feel energetic for a minute. Let me see you in hour 2, huh? Let's talk about hour 2. Because in hour 2, you're reaching for a candy bar and another Red Bull and then a Monster, right? And then you're reaching for some junk food, all poison. It's like a drug. But see, choosing joy can also work, but much more fast and much more efficiently. And what does this equate to your success? Come on, it's pretty simple. If a depressed person is trying to get hired at a company, they ain't going to get the job. You and I both know it. Why? Because we can read their body language. We can see it all over them. We do not want to bring that person into this place. We're looking for people who are going to improve company morale. We're looking for people who are going to improve their overall environment, where people are laughing and they're excited and they're happy to be there. It's incredible how we can encounter people that don't want to be where they're at. And they're always wishing they were somewhere else, whether it was somewhere back there or somewhere up there. No, man. You want to be valuable in the marketplace? You got to be happy right here, right now. No matter what fire you're facing or that you're in, choose joy. It's going to change everything. It's going to change all your circumstances in your life. Michelle from Lubbock, Texas. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. What have you got to say about this idea of choosing joy, and what is it that makes you happy and joyful?
Well, I kind of follow the KISS method. Keep it simple, you know what? After, many years of chasing, status and chasing money and chasing everything else, it was pretty simple that those things weren't making us happy. Yeah. And so, my husband
in fact, Michelle, let me ask you a question. What if they weren't making you happy, what were they making you?
Stressed, depressed, constantly tired, and aggravated with a lot of anxiety.
And tell me about your sex life. What was that like with the depressed and the stressed and the constant anxiety?
Well, I'll tell you what, when we decided to focus on our friends, our family, and our kids, our sex life definitely improved.
Which then helps you lose weight. You feel better about yourself, right? You're like, wow.
Absolutely.
Yes, increases the love life.
I come from a long line of those negative Nancys and those, I call them bitter Brendas. And it was really, people and mentors that taught me, count your blessings. Stop focusing on the things that you don't like and start being thankful for the things that you do have in your life. And, a lot of the other callers talked about, temporary things or situations that made them happy But, you can find something to be thankful for and count your blessings every day.
Yes.
Sometimes it's hard to even find one.
Yes.
But, I started a practice where I count 10 blessings and things that I'm thankful for every single day. And, like I said, when I first started, I couldn't find one.
Yep.
But pretty soon, one turned into two turned into six turned into 10. Yes. And, you realize how many overflowing blessings you have, and it'll instantly change your state of mind.
Yes. 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 I love your honesty and your transparency. I really do. We did the same thing. Chasing status, chasing money, chasing business, chasing fame, chasing all of this stuff that was completely temporary, and poof, man, as quickly as you get it is as quickly as you lose it. And then where are you? You're in a deep depression. I battled with depression for the first 30 years of my life, to the point of I tried to commit suicide at 6 years old for the first time. Fortunately, I tried to commit suicide the last time in my early 20s. And this was, by the way, after I made $1 million, friend. This is after I became the millionaire at 23. This is after I looked like I had it all together. No, I didn't have anything together. I was chasing all the wrong stuff. What's so interesting is that when you stop chasing all the wrong stuff and you start getting happy by choosing what you focus on and choosing joy and choosing to rejoice and choosing to look at life in a completely different way, the money started to chase us. That's what happened to us. The money started to chase us. It started flooding in like crazy when we didn't want it anymore, when we didn't care about it anymore. We weren't running amok trying to find it. We weren't stressed out about it anymore. It started to chase us. So, you got a choice. Michelle just told you, man. She told you. Hurt her sex life. It hurt her physical body. Hurt the marriage relationship. Hurt the family relationship. They just decided to keep things simple. And that's where you find joy. I find that keeping things simple in life absolutely breeds joy. Why? Because the pressure of managing all the stuff creates stress, right? The pressure of a big house, the pressure of the storage unit and what's in it, and I have to go through it. The pressure of the nice cars, the pressure of all of that stuff. If you really look at it and you get honest with yourself, really get honest with yourself, you will find that pressure does not equal joy or happiness at all. If anything, it robs you of it. So maybe try some simplifying your life. Simplify it. And by the way, I'm going to end today's show with this. I found joy in a very different place. I found joy not in something of this world, but I found it in my Savior. Yes, because oh boy, do I need a Savior. Oh gosh, man. Whew, if I leave myself up to myself, I am a wicked, mean-spirited, terrible, terrible, terrible person. And I need a Savior. I need His forgiveness daily. I need Him right by my side, inside, all around my sides. Because the minute I step away from His presence is the first second I make a terrible, terrible, costly, horrifying mistake. Yeah. So I don't know where you find yourself today, but listen, you want to make yourself more successful? You want to be more valuable to your spouse, to your kids? You want to be embraced and received? You want to be somebody that others are attracted to? Smile. Try that. You'll be surprised what's going to happen to you. Just even talking about happiness today on this show, wow. It's incredible when you choose joy. You forget about all the other things that are going on in your life. You forget about the past. You forget about the worries of the future. And you get to live right here in this moment and experience the beautiful privilege of joy, which is a choice. I'll talk to you tomorrow with another strategy and topic that's going to help you become more valuable and successful out there in the marketplace. God bless. Have a great day.
You've been listening to The Dani Johnson Show. It's our belief that you can live a better, healthier, happier life. All you need is a little encouragement. Get that and more on the next Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson YouTube channel. We're super excited to have you here. And every single week, we're going to make sure that you get awesome videos for your business, career, making more money, saving money, annihilating your debt, as well as helping you to handle those really tough problems that you have with people at home, as well as at work, and taking those really good relationships you already have and causing them to flourish and grow. All you have to do is click that subscribe button right down here. Click that and you'll be subscribed to an amazing community of people as well as some great videos that will help to improve your life. Thanks so much for being here. Subscribe now would be good. Just click it. I know you can see it. It's somewhere down here. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.